What's poppin', players? IceViper777 here. I just got back from London, and I was out there for the Battlefield 4 Showdown Live event, which was a lot of fun. Had a complete blast there, and thank you so much to DICE and EA and Microsoft for making it happen. And thanks for everybody there, Dennis, you, for kind of watching over us and making sure we were at the right place. It was a lot of fun, great event. It's like the Super Bowl of Battlefield, pretty much. Whether or not you look at it as like a promotional event or a competitive event, it was still there's a lot bearing on who won, and I really took it seriously in wanting the U.S. to win. We played Team Europe, and there was a lot of good competitors on the other team, I have to say. But overall, we just completely destroyed them. I guess if you watched the event, you know what happened, but we swept them 3-0. And during the rehearsals, we pretty much dominated them as well. So we weren't really that concerned about it. We actually were trying to think of ways we could just get off our like normal paths so that they wouldn't learn our strategy or get more familiar with where we're going and placing our soldiers and that. But we ended up just going straight to the event. Day one. We were there it was a full day every day. We were up at 7 a.m. for breakfast, went down to the hotel lobby. Very nice hotel we stayed at. Had breakfast, and then hopped on some tour buses. Team EU had their own bus, and Team US had their own bus. And, of course, we led the way because America's number one, of course, to the arena place. And it was a very nice venue they chose. I'm sure you've seen, like, pictures of it and stuff by now, but it was awesome. It was like a glass atrium type thing overhead, and had us up 32 versus 32 on the new Xbox One. Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One is awesome. Like I've never played on PC, so I can't really speak as to what it's like with playing on better graphics and stuff like that. And I understand the PC's better still, but I was very impressed. It was awesome playing with 60 FPS, which makes a huge difference. Everything was so smooth. It was amazing. And the graphics did look pretty good. Like coming back to the Xbox 360 here, I'm sorry this is the first time I'm getting video to you guys of Battlefield 4, but I really haven't had a chance to. The graphics look really crappy on this, but I've heard people like PC players that were at the event said it looked like probably like a low to medium level PC. But I was very impressed myself coming from the Xbox 360 up to that. If you're in the same boat as me, you'll be very pleased with what you see on the Xbox One, and I'm sure on the PS4 as well. Love the controller. Controller was great. I'm not too the bumpers felt like they were a little off. I don't know. My hands sit on top of the bumper on the 360 controller, and I usually just press straight down, and I wasn't able to do that on the One, which is kind of weird. But maybe it's just one of those things that'll take me like a little adapting to get used to that. But otherwise, the controller was perfect. The sticks move like so smooth. It's amazing. It's almost like too smooth, like trying to precision aim at stuff. It's like so like smooth. It's just I don't know how to describe it, but you'll probably see what I mean when you get the controller in your hands. But absolutely loved it. Had a blast at the event. Everybody there was just so cool. Like immediately we all just had something to talk about because we all play Battlefield like religiously, and so we were all just like bros from the get-go. Like there was nobody there that was like not cool or like not like fun to talk to. It was all around just awesome. I ended up hanging out with a lot of the guys from the Iconic clan or competitive group, whatever you want to say. Had a blast hanging out with those guys. A lot of fun. Funny dudes there. Russian Badger was hilarious. I've never really been like one to I haven't watched like a ton of his stuff, but he was just absolutely hilarious. So I'll probably tune in for more of his stuff. It was really cool talking to the developers too. Like I sat down and had dinner with a lot of the developers of the game, and it was really cool just like hearing their thoughts and like their reasoning when they did certain stuff with the maps or they did certain stuff with weapon balancing, and kind of how they track weapons and make sure like they know what's OP and what's not. And like they have ways to track the most used weapons, and they can break it down all the statistics for that and stuff, and they study that and make their weapon changes and balance changes based on that. And really interesting to hear that. And they liked hearing from us too because we're the ones that are playing their game a ton, and they like to get the good feedback instead of just all the constant complaining and that. But yeah, long flight over there. But it actually, I don't know, it went pretty quick. We were supposed to be like eight hours over from Chicago, but it only took about 7 thanks to the wind. And Widgety Bear was on my flight. I didn't realize it until like the end of the flight. I'm standing up to stretch my legs, and he sees my Battlefield shirt, and he's like, "Oh, dude, are you going to the event?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we navigated around the London airport a little bit. Very nice airport. It's just huge, though. It was a little overwhelming, but otherwise, we got to to our hotel, and a lot of people just crashed. I tried not to go to sleep because I didn't want to screw up my sleep schedule, I guess, but everybody was just completely jet lagged and exhausted, but we made the best of it. We all just kind of hung around the lobby and the restaurant down there, and had dinner, drank some beers, just talked Battlefield and other stuff, and it was a lot of fun. It'll definitely be one of those memories that'll stick with me the rest of my life. It was just so much fun. Getting to meet the people that made the game that I've loved for so long, and the rehearsal was pretty cool. I mean, we just basically went through what we're gonna do, and we got to play sometime like the day before the event, and then day 2, like the actual day of the event, we played pretty much all day. Ran through the different maps. We played the new Caspian Border, which is fantastic, by the way. I never really was a Caspian Border guy. Like, I would play it, but it wasn't one of my absolute favorites. But this new one is very good. It was called Caspian Border 2014 when we were playing it. I don't know what it's going to be like finally called, but it was freaking awesome. The wall in the middle, as you probably saw, was huge factor in the map. Really played out, and apparently there's like tunnels going underneath the hill flag. I never was over there, so I never saw them. I was pretty much only in the tank guarding the wall, like my section of the wall, and then the other tank was over. Iconic Wally was over, just kind of watching from the highway, like roadblock, and then back towards me. We were just kind of guarding that wall from infantry, and we completely shut them down. You can close a gate on the wall. So we had one of our infantry guys, like in my tank's crew, go over there and close the wall or close the gate, and we could still shoot through the gate. Like, he left it open a little bit, and we could shoot armor coming in. We had it just completely like bottlenecked there. And I mean, if they broke that wall, though, we were screwed because you can shoot down the wall. But if they broke that down, their tactic was just to flood everything. Just pick an objective, and they would all just like flood it on infantry. They kind of gave up on their armor. Their air game was very weak. We just completely destroyed them on that because our air game was top notch. We had like the best pilots in the world on our team, so that made it a lot easier in the tank, not having to worry about helicopters and stuff like that. So much thanks to those guys. And our armor game was very strong. Wally just kicks ass in the tank, and he's a very solid infantry player too. So we had, and then myself in the tank, I mean, we had a very good team going. And I'd like to shout out to Evil Viking. He's my boy. He's my roommate and my tank gunner. Thank you so much for your repairs and stuff. And Brass Monkey, thanks for doing your thing as well. He's in my crew. Obliteration was tons of fun. We actually played at 32v32 in a rehearsal, but in the final like showdown event, we actually only played at 16v16. But I had a lot of fun playing that. That was just massive amounts of entertainment. I love that new game type. I haven't had a lot of time to play Battlefield 4 since I got back. I ended up staying in London another 6 days after the event, or actually 5 days after the event happened, and I popped over to Paris for a day and just toured because I figured, you know what, Microsoft's paying for my flights. I'm going to extend my stay a little bit. I just got a hotel right near Heathrow. Popped over to Paris for a day and then just kind of kicked around in London and did the tourist thing. And I actually met one of my best friends on Xbox Live. His gamer tag is Saintly. I've known him since Call of Duty 4 days. And so I had the chance to meet him because I was over there. He lives in the UK. He took a train down to London and we just kicked around and looked at supercars and did some touristy stuff and just talked and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. All around, very good trip. If you guys have any questions, like specifically on the Xbox One or Battlefield 4 or whatever that I can maybe answer, I don't know, just ask, I guess, or if you know have any comments about the Showdown event, I'd love to hear what you had to say about that. Great event, great promotional event for Microsoft. Big success for them, I know. And it was kind of cool being like the first launch event for a new console. That was pretty much us. You know, everybody was watching that, and that says something. That's pretty cool. So it's been a pleasure, guys. Adios.